Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Radha Madhav Radha Madhav Radhe. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande, Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nasta Prayeshwa Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyutama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Welcome to all the devotees to our Srimad Bhagavatam Katha. Today we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, the first canto, chapter 13, chapter entitled Dhritarashtra Quits Home, text number 1. Sūta uvāca viduras tīrtha-yātrāyāṁ maitreyād ātmano gatim jñātvāgād dhāstinapuraṁ tayāvāpta-vivitsitaḥ. Sūta uvāca viduras tīrtha-yātrāyāṁ maitreyād ātmano gatim jñātvāgād dhāstinapuraṁ tayāvāpta-vivitsitaḥ. Sūta uvāca viduras tīrtha-yātrāyāṁ maitreyād ātmano gatim jñātvāgād dhāstinapuram tayāvāpta-vivitsitaḥ. Kindly chant. Sūta uvāca viduras tīrtha-yātrāyāṁ maitreyāt ātmano gatim jñātvāgād hastinapuram. Sūta uvāca Sutta uvāca. Viduras tīrtha-yātrāyāṁ. Maitreya jñātvāgād hastinapuram. Tayāvāpta. Mataji. Sutta uvāca. Viduras tīrtha-yātrāyāṁ. Maitreyād ātmano gatim. Jñātvāgād ātmanaḥ. tayāvāpta-vivitsitaḥ. Sutta uvāca. Viduras tīrtha-yātrāyāṁ. Maitreyād ātmano gatim. Jñātvāgād hastinapuram. tayāvāpta-vivitsitaḥ. Sutta uvāca. Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī said, Viduraḥ, Vidura, tīrtha-yātrāyāṁ. While traveling to different places of pilgrimage, maitreyād, from the great sage Maitreya, ātmanaḥ, of the self, gatim, destination, jñātvā, by knowing it, āgāt, went back, Hastināpuram, the city of Hastināpura, tayā, by that knowledge, avāpta, sufficiently a gainer, vivitsitaḥ, being well versed in everything knowable. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya, and then returned to Hastināpura. He became as well versed in the subject as he desired. Kindly repeat. Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya, and then returned to Hastināpura. He became as well versed in the subject as he desired. Purport. Vidura, one of the prominent figures in the history of Mahabharata. He was conceived by Vyasadeva in the womb of the maidservant of Ambika, mother of Maharaj Pandhu. He is the incarnation of Yamaraj. Being cursed by Manduka Muni, he was to become a Sudra. The story is narrated as follows. Once upon a time, the state police caught some thieves who had concealed themselves in the hermitage of Manduka Muni. The police constables, as usual, arrested all the thieves and Manduka Muni along with them. The magistrate specifically punished the Muni to death by being pierced with a lance. When he was just to be pierced, the news reached the king, and he at once stopped the act on consideration of his being a great Muni. The king personally begged the Muni's pardon for the mistake of his man, and the saint at once went to Yamaraj, who prescribes the destiny of the living beings. Yamaraj, being questioned by the Muni, replied that the Muni in his childhood pierced an ant with a sharpened straw, and for that reason he was put into difficulty. The Muni thought it unwise on the part of Yamaraj that he was punished for his childish innocence, and thus the Muni cursed Yamaraj to become a Sudra. And this Sudra incarnation of Yamaraj was known as Vidura, the Sudra brother of Dhritarashtra and Maharaj Pandu. But this Sudra son of the Kuru dynasty was equally treated by Bhismadev, along with his other nephews. And in due course, Vidura was married with a girl who was also born in the womb of a Sudrani by a Brahmana. Although Vidura did not inherit the property of his father, the brother of Bhismadev, still he was given sufficient state property by Dhritarashtra, the elder brother of Vidura. Vidura was very much attached to his elder brother, and all along he tried to guide him on the right path. During the fratricidal war of Kurukshetra, Vidura repeatedly implored his elder brother to do justice to the sons of Pandu. But Duryodhana did not like such interference by his uncle, and thus he practically insulted Vidura. This resulted in Vidura's leaving home for pilgrimage and taking instructions from Maitreya. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam panglunglam ghayate girim. Jat kripa tamahang bande. Sri Gurun Dinatharanam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya-ishwaram. Hare Krishna. I will read again the translation. Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya and then returned to Hastinapura. He became as well versed in the subject as he desired. Hare Krishna. So this chapter entitled Dhritarashtra Quits Home. So it is described in Srila Prabhupada's purport about Vidura's life. Srila Prabhupada gave the brief description how Yamaraj became Vidura. And long before the battle of Kurukshetra, so actually, as Srila Prabhupada also mentioned, that Duryodhana was insulting Vidura, and finally Vidura left Hastinapura because Duryodhana, practically speaking, kicked him out. But Srila Prabhupada explained actually Krishna's energy works differently to different persons. So to Duryodhana, the Mahamaya potency worked upon him. But for Vidura, the Yogamaya potency influenced him. So he takes the advantage of actually being insulted by Duryodhana. He just gave up his bow and arrow and sword and just left the kingdom. So he could see, this is the quality of a pure devotee, that he can see Krishna's hands in everything. Yeah, he can see Krishna's hands in everything. Even while getting some type of calamity in his life, he can see it, Krishna's hands, Krishna's plans. Yeah, he clearly understands that this is Krishna's mercy. Yasyaham anugrihnami harishyatadanam shanaihi tato dhanam tyajantyasu swajano dukkha dukhitam. This is the greatest mercy of Lord Krishna. Yasyaham anugrihnami harishye. Hari means one who takes what he takes. Krishna says, if I give my special favor to my pure devotees, I will take tato dhanam, first his wealth. Tato dhanam tyajantyasu swajano, and his relative will give him up because now he becomes poverty-stricken. Swajano, and then dukkha dukhitam, and then he will meet all types of calamities in his life. That is Krishna's greatest mercy. And a pure devotee can see that. A pure devotee never complains. He sees that everything is arranged by Krishna. And when Vidura was kicked out by Duryodhana, so he took it as Krishna's blessings. Okay, it's time for me now, to go out for pilgrimage, visiting holy places and meet sadhus. And of course, in the first place, when he went, he met Uddhava, and then Uddhava told him that I'm younger than you, better you go to Maitreya. So Maitreya is a qualified devotee, of course, who can instruct Vidura. Yeah. So having said that, if we see here that now, after the war, Vidura is returning home. But the purpose of his returning home is not to enjoy the kingdom. He returns home because he loves his elder brother, Dhritarashtra, who is actually being trapped by Maya, who is in that kingdom being too attached with that kingdom. He didn't want to go. It's time for Dhritarashtra to retire. So in the later verses, we will see that how Vidura was heavily chastising Dhritarashtra, saying that, oh, you are living in somebody else's house. You tried to kill them, now you live here, and you eat the food prepared by Bhima, the one whom you tried to poison. What a shame. So basically, Vidura here comes home because he wanted to deliver his elder brother. As Srila Prabhupada mentioned here, that Vidura is too attached. We see here, too attached with his elder brother, Dhritarashtra. But this kind of attachment is not material attachment. It is spiritual attachment, because you love somebody because you want to save his life. So this is one of the primary quality of being a preacher. It's not that you have to memorize 1,000 verses, then you become a great preacher. No, but your primary quality of becoming a preacher is the compassion. Yeah, compassion. Prayena deva munaya swa vimukti kama maunam charanti vijanena parartanista naitan vihaya kripanan vimumuksa eko nanyatvad asya sharanam brahmato nupashe. Prahlad Maharaj mentioned this, that nanyatvad asya sharanam brahmato nupashe. This kripana, they cannot be delivered unless they surrender to Krishna. Prayena deva munaya swa vimukti kama. There are so many great demigods and muni, rishis. They concern only for their own liberation. Swa vimukti kama. Kama means desire, so swa means our own. So those munis, those great personality, they concern only for their own liberation. Maunam charanti vijanena parartanista, and they go to a secluded place and meditate, doing the Mauna Vrata. Naitan, but as far as I'm concerned, Naitan vihaya kripanan vimumuksa eko. I don't want my own liberation. Eka means one. I don't want my own liberation, but I want this kripana to be liberated first. So same thing as Vidura here, that of course, he's a Mahajan. Yamaraj is one of the 12 Mahajans. He is liberated, definitely. But his concern is Dhritarashtra, who is being trapped in the family life. Yeah, it's time actually for Dhritarashtra to retire. So he just come here to enlighten his elder brother. Another thing also that we can learn from this verse is that, of course, Vidura is playing a role as a Sudra. But no matter in what position we are, whether we're born as a Sudra, as a Brahmana, or whatever, as long as we know the science of the absolute truth, we can become a guru. Kiba vipra kibanyasi Sudra kene noi Jai Krishna Tattvaveta sei Guru hoy. This is the qualification. Jai Krishna Tattvaveta. You know Krishna Tattva sei Guru hoy. You can become a guru. Kiba vipra kibanyasi Sudra kene noi. Even though if you're born in the Sudra family, provided you know the science, Krishna Tattva, the truth about Krishna, you can become a guru. You can deliver others. Of course, from the social viewpoint of the Varnashram system, Sudra is considered to be in the lower category in the society. Striyo Vaishyas tata Sudras. Yeah, Vaishya, women, sorry. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, these three category of people in the society considered to be low. But Krishna says, Mam hi partha vyapasritya ye pishu papa yonayaha striyo vaishyas tata sudras tepi yanti param gatim. But if the Vaishya, Sudra and women, they surrender to me, Krishna says, Mam hi partha vyapasritya asritya. So, ye pishu papa yonayaha, even a person who's born in the sinful family, papa yoni. Yoni means taking birth. Ye pishu papa yonayaha. Tepi yanti param gatim. That person can attain the highest destination in his life. So it doesn't matter. Being a woman, it's just material covering. The main thing is that we develop love for Krishna. Yeah. And if we see later in the verse number 3 and 4 in Srila Prabhupada's purport, is very interesting. So Vidura is received now. All the inhabitants of Hastināpura, they feel like so jubilant, as if that they regain their life again. And then in that verses mentioned there are some names like Yudhishthira, the Pandavas, Kunti, Draupadi, and others. And in Srila Prabhupada's purport, interestingly, that Srila Prabhupada commented only to the women. Srila Prabhupada mentioned the 4 women mentioned in that verses 3 and 4 and give elaborate description about their quality. Srila Prabhupada did not touch the aspect of these inhabitants receiving Vidura with such a jubilant as if they regain their life again. Now what we understand here, it doesn't matter in what position we are. We're born in any countries, in any body. As long as we develop love for Krishna, our life is perfected. Yeah. Parijaten jasa labde sarango nyanna sevate twad angri mulam ashadya saksad kim kim brine mahi. This is the prayer of the prachetas. So after they perform severe austerities, now Lord Vishnu appeared and asked them, I'm so pleased with your austerity, please ask me any boon. This is the prayer of the prachetas. Parijate and jasa labde sarango nyanna sevate. Just like the bumblebees. Saranga means the bumblebees. When the bumblebees get the opportunity to suck the nectar from the heavenly flower, the parijata. So there is no need for this bumblebee to go to any other flowers, because that's the best flower, the best nectar that the bumblebees can get. So similarly, Twad Angri Mulam Ashadya Saksad. As far as we are concerned, the Pracheta said, as far as we are concerned, now we are taking shelter at your lotus feet. Angri Mulam means the lotus feet. Mula means root, actually. Root. So, Krishna's lotus feet. Saksad kim kim brine mahe. What is there to ask for more? There is nothing more to be asked. when we already take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. That's actually the highest perfection in life. That's actually the highest perfection in life, when we engage ourselves in Krishna's service. Nothing else that we need to ask. Yeah. Therefore, in the fourth verse of the Sikshastakam, very famous, yeah, na danam, na janam, na shundarim. We don't want anything. We don't want wealth, danam, janam, followers, sundarim, beautiful women. Yeah. Mama janmani janmanishwari bhavatad bhaktir ahaitukitvayi. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the only thing that I want is devotion, engagement in your service. Yeah, that's it. So, having said that, come back to this verse again. Now Vidura came home, and later it will be described that Yudhishthira Maharaj, of course, glorifies Vidura. So Vidura, being a pure devotee, he is actually the embodiment of a holy place. You see, Vidura is a pure devotee, yet he goes for pilgrimage. But actually the pure devotee's body itself is considered as good as a holy place. As Yudhishthira Maharaj will glorify Vidura in this very chapter. Yeah, Bhavadvida Bhagavata tīrtha bhuta swayam vibhu tīrti kurvanti tīrtani swantastena gadabrita. So, because the body of a pure devotee is fully engaged in Krishna's service, tirti kurvanti tirtani, wherever he walks, that place becomes a holy place, because his own body is a holy place itself. So that place is transformed into a holy place. If a pure devotee just step on that, because the body of a pure devotee is completely transcendental, engaged in Krishna's service 24 hours. There is no chance for Maya. We sometimes think that, okay, we have 24 hours a day, let me be in Maya for 1 or 2 hours. Sometimes we have this kind of mentality. But a pure devotee, no, always eager to find some service. Always eager to find some service. Therefore, we have to take advantage of the association of the devotees. Yeah, just by meeting a devotee is so auspicious. Yeah, in the Hari Bhakti Sudodaya, it is described, Aksno palam drishtava darsanam hi, jihva palam drishtava kirtanam hi, tano palam drishtava gatra sangha sudur laba bhagavata hiloke. Because a pure devotee is very, very rare. Sudurlabha Bhagavata, Mahabhagavata devotee is very rare. Therefore, when we just see a pure devotee, Aksno Palam Drishtava Darshanam, just getting the darshan of a pure devotee, that's actually perfected our eyes. Jihva Palam Drishtava Kirtanam, when we glorify the devotees, that's actually the perfection of our tongue. Tano Palam Drishtava Gatra Sangha, when we use our body associating with the devotees, that's the perfection of this body. Yeah, because Sudurlabha Bhagavata Hiloke. Bhagavata Hiloke. Loke means in this world. In this world, it's very rare to see devotees. Well, of course, we may think that, oh, we are here in Mayapur, devotees are everywhere. But sometimes we don't appreciate being in the holy dham and full of devotees. Sometimes we don't really appreciate this. But I remember when I was in Cambodia, where there was no devotees. And when I remember when His Holiness Bhakti Purushottama Maharaj came visit us just for 4 days, we feel like so jubilant, enthusiastic. We arranged different programs, like as will be described in this chapter, that as if we regain our own life. We regain our own life just by hearing the news. Maharaj wrote mail to us that he's going to come in such and such date. We feel like, wow, now finally we get this devotees association. Well, there are a handful of devotees in Cambodia at that time. So when Maharaj came, Bhakti Purushottama Maharaj came, we feel like, wow, this is like big festival. But for us here, oh yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna, walk away. Sometimes we don't appreciate that. Yeah. Of course, being in Mayapur itself is such a great boon, you know. For me personally, well, I respect Vrindavan Dham, but for me, this is the best spot ever in this world. Yeah. This is the best spot ever. And as Jivanath Prabhu used to say that, what can be a better service while we are here in Mayapur to glorify Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Yeah. Sometimes devotee ask me like, where are you from? I'm from Bali, Indonesia. Oh, Bali, such a beautiful place, beaches, you know, volcano, mountains, blah, 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 and so on. It's so beautiful, you know, why you leave Bali and you stay here? It's so hot. What? Narad Muni says in the 5th canto, na yatra vaikunta katasuda paga na sadavo bhagavatas tadasraya na yatra yagyesa makha mahotsava suresa loko pinawai vasevatam. Narad Muni said that na yatra vaikunta katasuda paga. A great soul will never go to a place where there is no the river of Krishna Katha flow. Nasadavo bhagavatas tadasraya, and he will not visit a place where there is no sadhu. Nasadavo bhagavata tada ashraya, a sadhu perform devotional service. He will not visit such a place. Nayagyesha maka mahotsava, he will not go to a place where there is no performance of yagya. And in the bracket, Srila Prabhupada in the translation put, especially in the age of Kali, the Sankirtan Yagya is emphasized. Suresa Loko. What is Suresa Loko? Sura means the demigod. Loka means the planet of demigods. That means the heaven. Even that place is as beautiful as heaven. Suresa Loko pi nawai vasevatam. The great soul is not very much interested to go just to, you know, sightseeing in a beautiful place. Nowadays, we, you know, when we go somewhere, we always ready with our camera, take some pictures, yeah, put on your Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. Yeah. So, but of course, again, if we see Srila Prabhupada's life, he's, you know, he was going to a place where all types of sinful activities were performed. Yeah. So this is actually, again, coming back to this verse again, the mood of a pure devotee, concern for others, being compassion. Yeah. Not only for my own liberation, but for others also. Para dukkha dukhi. Pure devotee genuinely feel that his heart is hurt when seeing others in suffering. Yeah. So, yeah, always take advantage in the association of pure devotees. Whatever it is, here we are in Mayapur, there are unlimited chance of serving. Well, of course, some of us may have different mood in serving. Some of us may have different mood of serving. Some devotees love to be involved in the kitchen. Some devotees love to be involved in the deity worship. Some devotees love to go for Harinam. Yeah. And for me personally, I'm very fanatic about Harinam. I'm very fanatic about Harinam, and I would like to see one day that in Mayapur, all the residents of Mayapur come and join us to perform the Harinam at 4 o'clock in the evening, 4 to 6:30, 6 days in a week. Yeah, you can choose any day you like, you know. Sometimes I just tell the devotees, just come once a week or once a month or whatever, you know. It's so nice, you know. This is the advantage being in Mayapur. Okay, in some other places, probably it's a bit hard to perform the Harinam. Yeah, especially now in Bali, the Hare Krishna is banned. Banned in the sense of you can't do anything outside in public place. No more Harinam, no more Ratha Yatra. Yeah, it's so sad, so sad. But here in Mayapur, it's available, easily available, and we are not taking full advantage of it. Yeah, that's our misfortune. Well, of course, each individuality has his own agenda during the day. Yeah, we have. But at least, once, as the saying goes, once in a blue moon, you can just pop up on our Harinam. It's actually, for me personally, I feel encouraged when more devotees involved. I feel encouraged. Yeah. And, sorry? We start just behind Srila Prabhupada's Bhajan Kutir, in that juice stall right there, because our go down is there. We keep all our instruments there. We start there with our beautiful Shishi Gaur Nitai. We distribute books also. Those who have the inclination to distribute Srila Prabhupada's book, you can come and join us. It's actually easier to distribute books on a Harinam because you get the full attention of the visitors. So the advantage of this Harinam party here is that first we get devotees association. Secondly, it's in holy dham. Of course, in the Navadvip Dham Mahatmya, it is described that simply by walking in this place, in this holy land, the advantage you get is equal as 1 million Aswamedha Yajna. Just walking. And what if you chant and dance in the association of the devotees? And that's, of course, from our side, we get the purification, and for others also. Those who just hear, just by hearing, Yannama Sruti Matrena Puman Bhavab Nirmala, Tasya Tirtha Pada Kimvai, Dashavan Avasishyate. Yannama Sruti. By chance, even if you are not attentively, just by chance, you are hearing the chanting, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna's name. Puman Bhavabdir Nirmala. All the dirt within that person's heart who by chance hear the holy names will get purified. Dasavan Avasishyate. And what to speak of if we involve in the service up to best of our limit. Yeah. So this is the advantage of being in the holy dham. So again, I would like to invite all of you here, all of you, to come at least once, one day. Especially Jivanath Prabhu, he wants to see that all these 5,000, how many residents here we have? 5,000 devotees, one day. When that day will come? Maybe after some time. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, such a great place, and devotees are all around, and devotees are so merciful. Yeah, devotees are so merciful. As Rupa Goswami explained that while growing our bhakti creeper, so devotees association is compared just like the fence, always protecting us. And that's not only just philosophically or just a theory, but it is true. If you really take the guidance from the devotees are so merciful. Me personally, being a young grihasta, like sometimes my mind becomes immature and, some conflict. Being immature and dealing with problem in the childish way. So I feel personally fortunate that many times actually whenever I have problem related to my family affairs, I used to go to Kripanidhi Prabhu and Karunamayi Mataji for consultation. And they act just like my parents, spending time and carefully listening and not like blaming, oh, you do this, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. No, but so compassionately and so gentle. And each and every time after I consulted something from them, my heart feels solace, relief. So this is devotee's protection. It's not just a theory. No, but a true devotee will really try to save another devotees, not to, especially sometimes devotees may think that, oh, I had enough with this. I have enough with this movement. I'm leaving now. No, but a true devotee will always be there, compassionately, patiently guiding us. Well, sometimes devotees may giving a heavy chastisement, but if we analyze carefully, actually that's for our own benefit. Yeah, our own benefit. But of course, sometimes when the false ego is too high, you can't receive it. But if after sometimes you contemplate it, yes, it is true that we really need what he or what she says is actually true. Yeah. Hare Krishna. So I just read the translation once again. Śrī Sūta Gosvāmī said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya and then returned to Hastināpura. He became as well versed in the subject as he desired. So I was told by His Grace Padmapad Prabhu that I have to leave 15 minutes for any discussion, if any. So I'm finished here. Thank you very much. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Kripanidhi Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Can you give the microphone?
You're mentioning the Prachetas and the sons of Prachina Barishat, and they were performing austerities in the ocean, standing 10,000 years.
Yeah.
But in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Haridas Thakur explains that simply one chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, if one thinks it's equal to the performance of 1,000 Rajasuya yagas, he may go to hell. So we have to understand this chanting that we're being encouraged to do, this Harinam Sankirtan, especially if we share it with the inhabitants of West Bengal, the people who come here. They're also accumulating karmic reactions. They're also going to be punished by karma if they don't take shelter of the great devotee of the Lord, Srila Prabhupada, and take initiation and so on, at least chant the holy names and become devotees. They also have to suffer from karma, although they have some piety. So this distribution of the holy name, the Sankirtan Yaga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful that it's far more important than sitting in the Pacific Ocean for 10,000 years performing great austerities like the Prachetas did. This is more potent than that, all that. So we should think like that. How powerful is the chanting of this name in Kali Yuga? Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Any other devotee? Karunamayi Mataji. We have two Karunamayis here. Please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. When Vishnu appeared in front of the Prachetas, he was more impressed. Although they did tapasya for 10,000 years, he said, I'm very happy about the friendly relationships between you. That impressed him more.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. In fact, if you happen to attend the ISKCON Disciple course, there is this verse being quoted in one of the slides that we have. So cooperation is very important. So amongst the devotees, cooperation is also very important. It's not that I'm doing my service, you are doing my service, and we don't feel connected. But when we do the service together, cooperating together, in fact, Srila Prabhupada says that your love shown to me by cooperation. Because I heard once that Srila Prabhupada said nobody can break up this movement except broken inside, when there is no cooperation. Yeah, devotees association, cooperating between the devotees is very important. Otherwise, our movement may split up, and Srila Prabhupada didn't want that happen. Thank you very much, Karunamaya Mataji. Very valid point. Any others before I close? Oh, okay. Yeah, Prabhu. Yeah, Prabhu first, and Jivanath Prabhu will close on this class.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Thank you very much. You very nicely elaborated the purport. And you are talking about the compassion of Vidura. Although he had received all the knowledge from Maitreya, still he came back just to deliver Dhritarashtra.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask Prabhuji, like, how to keep this spirit of compassion, how to, sometimes you get so much self-involved, self-centered. So any practical steps you can advise so that we can cultivate this compassion also?
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So Prabhu's question is that how we can have this genuine compassion within ourselves. Sometimes, and most of the times, we just being selfish, and it is the nature of most of us being selfish. We are concerning only about ourselves. Then how we can develop this genuine compassion? By hearing constantly. Yeah, one of the ways, of course, there's many other methods also, but by hearing, through hearing, especially the pastimes of great devotees like Vidura or Prahlad Maharaj especially, yeah, by hearing such pastimes, narrations, we may feel it's just a story, so what? But, okay, if you happen to be born in a devotee family, maybe you don't really feel it, the difference, being in Krishna consciousness. But most of us here, that we didn't take birth in devotee family, and then after this kind of transformation, when we look back what I was before, we really feel the difference. That's how the compassion normally start. We first of all experiencing the suffering before becoming devotee, and then now we become devotee. And if we, just flash back on that moment when we, in such a time before becoming devotee, we feel like, oh, yeah, that's true. My life is so miserable before. So one of the practical way is, of course, by hearing. Actually, compassion, the symptoms of a person who has a soft heart is compassion. And our heart is full of abhadrani. Yeah, Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtanam Hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidunoti suhrit satam. So the abhadrani, the impurities, will wash off, will be cleansed by the process of hearing. Yeah, by the process of hearing, we can develop this compassion. That's why no wonders that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loves to hear the narration of the life of Prahlad and Dhruva. Because Prahlad Maharaj teaching is so deep actually. He's just a small boy, but he has such a great, genuine compassion. Yeah. Naivo dvije paro duratyaya vaitaranyas twadvirya gayana mahamrita magna chetaha suchetato vimuka chetasa indriyata maya sukaya bharam udvahato vimudhan. So he said that vimudhan means, Prabhupada translated as fools and rascal. So naivo dvije paro duratyaya vaitaranyas. For me, I have no problem to cross over this material ocean. Twadvirya gayana maha amrita magna cheta. Because I know the method. The method is glorifying the Lord. This is considered as the maha amrita, nectar. So chetato, but I'm lamenting. Why lamenting? To see these fools and rascals. So chetato vimukha chetasa indriya artha. They simply engage in indriya artha, try to gratify their senses. Indriyartha. Suchetato vimukacetasa indriyartha maya sukaya bharam. And just concerned with maintaining their own family members. So by hearing, we can develop this, because hearing is a powerful method that cleanses our heart. And once our heart is pure, so naturally this genuine compassion will appear naturally. That's why Narad Muni says, Sada Sevya, Srimad Bhagavati Katha. Always, Sada Sevya, twice he mentioned. Srimad Bhagavati Katha. Listen to the narration of Bhagavatam. Yasya Shravana Matrena Hari Chitam Samashrayat. Simply by hearing, Lord Hari will manifest in our heart. So because we are all Krishna's children, so naturally Krishna will give the impetus that yes, all of them are your brothers and sisters. So please save them. Hare Krishna. Yes, Jivanath Prabhu. Finally.
So we're talking about compassion, and obviously that can be a motivating factor for Harinam, for book distribution. We're seeing everybody suffering and we want to help them. And if that's what works for you, then that's fantastic. But with certain austerities, like what we mentioned, Harinam book, it's an austerity. Going out and standing and chanting or approaching people, it's an austerity. So we can see we're not standing in the ocean for thousands of years. We're doing this as an austerity. And those who are standing in the ocean, they're expecting something from it. But we don't expect anything from this. But guess what? We get it. We get more than we give. If we're actually seeing all the living entities as suffering, and we're thinking, but we're not. We've got this gift, so let me give it. And by giving it, Krishna rewards us. I don't think anybody can go out on Harinam, especially here in Mayapur, and go home and say, wow, that was kind of... Everybody is walking above the ground on the way home because the ecstasy has been given by Krishna. You're reciprocating, you're chanting his names, you're turning on everybody to the holy name that's around. And Krishna's saying, okay, I'll give you pleasure for that. We don't go seeking it, but we get it. When we distribute a book, why is it so wonderful? You know, if we're handing somebody just a book of, you know, the National Geographic or something like that, we don't get any ecstasy out of that. Wow, he's going to look at all these great pictures of islands and things. I'm so buzzed from this. We don't get that. But when we distribute Prabhupada's books, somehow or other, we're getting an ecstasy. Why is this? Because Krishna is reciprocating. He's saying, look, you're performing some austerity, not such a great austerity. It's not standing in the ocean for 10,000 years. It's taking a few minutes of your time to help a fallen soul realize where they should be. So there's ecstasy involved. So I don't want to just say, do it as an austerity. Don't just do Harinam because we're asking you to do it. Do it because you want an ecstatic feeling. Do it for that reason. Come out on Harinam. Get a taste of this ecstasy. Why is it that old people like Kripanidhi and myself are still doing this? We do it for the ecstasy, don't we? It's what we're all about. Give me a taste. Make me happy. I want to be buzzed. This is fun. I love chanting your name, Krishna. I love seeing the faces of everybody and appreciating the holy names. So that's why we do these things. Now, just to break down the compassion thing. Compassion can be distributed without doing Harinam. Without distributing books, you can still give compassion to others. It's so very simple. And let me just demonstrate it to you right now. Those at home can't see this. But all I'm doing is smiling. Sometimes a smile to somebody is compassionate. And it awakens their heart. Oh my God, he smiled at me. Now I'm not just talking about to pilgrims, to guests. I'm talking about to our fellow devotees. Sometimes we just smile at each other. It's like, oh, wow, there was a reciprocation. We got a taste. Krishna gives you the taste because he's saying, hey, you're recognizing one of my devotees. Way to go. I'll give you a little taste for that. So this compassion is not just for the fallen souls. It's for the fallen souls who are trying not to be fallen souls as well. It's for us as well. an embrace, a smile, an acknowledgement. Jai Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Did you just get here? You did. You're from Delhi, aren't you? I just took a wild guess because you look like a Delhi devotee. But this is our compassion, not just for fallen souls, for everybody, for every living entity. When we actually develop that compassion, then we're actually on the path. Until then, we're just on our own little path. But we should be on the path back to Krishna. And Krishna, he will say, way to go, and give you some pleasure from it. So even if you're just a greedy pleasure person like myself, and that's why you do it, just because you want that ecstasy, I don't care, do it. You're going to get the ecstasy, you're going to make other people happy, and that's really why we're here, because we are preachers. We are not bhajananandis, we are preachers.
Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Haji.